Welcome everybody to the Malt Shop Radio Entertainment Network. This is the podcast Zeppelin. We are broadcasting from our secret dirigible. And speaking of we, I'd like to bring to you our guest host for today, the podcast Gremlin.
My goodness, that sounds awful.
Yes, it does, but it's worth every second of it.
I mean, to have me, the podcast Gremlin, here.
Yes, it's absolutely lovely.
It really adds something.
But I'm not sure what. But what we can add is our shows. You're hearing us on the Malt Shop Radio. You can find me at Malt Shop Radio FM, maltshopradio.caster.fm. You can find me at maltshopradio.weebly.com and on Facebook as Malt Shop Radio Entertainment. And you can also find the podcast Gremlin at Food for Thought Police.
As a matter of fact, foodforthoughtpolice.com.
Oh.
Foodforthoughtpolice.com. Index of all the episodes there.
All right. Well, what we're really doing here is we're talking about how to get into podcasting from the ground up. Most shows are produced by people who have already succeeded. We haven't. So we're doing it from the ground up. The podcast Gremlin has more podcasts than I do. I just do a little bit of a Friday night radio show. In any case, Gremlin, how did you get into podcasting? What's the deal?
Well, the first thing that turned me on to podcasting was when I was in college, the university radio station put out a call for new show hosts. So I did that for a semester. I kind of tried on and off trying to get that podcast going again. It's a show called Giraffe Suspenders. I think the only place it exists now is on my hard drive and on Facebook. Barely even there. I don't know that you'd ever find any episodes. But then, about 2 years ago, I started the podcast Food for Thought Police. At first it did about 5 episodes of kind of a my opinion about thing, but that kind of didn't go very far, and then I rebooted it as a podcast about dystopian novels.
Dystopian novels such as?
Brave New World, Fahrenheit 451, 1984.
Oh, yeah. Dystopian future novels. Kind of creepy stuff.
Oh yeah, you aim for utopia and you hit dystopia.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. So, in context, what is each podcast about?
Each podcast is I usually spend 2 or 3 episodes discussing a novel. Sometimes we'll do movies. As actually the one movie I did, actually, it was in partnership with you.
Oh yes, I remember that. Didn't we do that in like a barn of dubious build?
Yes, I'm glad we made it out alive, but the thing is, we did it.
Yeah. Oh, yes, and a cave in the middle of somewhere right on the ocean. It was kind of damp.
Did we say it was Blade Runner we did?
It was Blade Runner, yes. Great movie. Harrison Ford, Rutger Hauer, Daryl Hannah, a bunch of people that I can't remember. Edward James Olmos. The other Edward.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun talking about that movie.
Yeah, it's interesting to go from like the book version to a movie based on it, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So for beginners out there, me being one, what advice would you give them for podcasting, for starting out in podcasting?
For starting out in podcasting, kind of one of the thing you want to have permanent is the acquisition of good equipment.
Yeah, such as a computer. That would be the number one part.
Yeah, a computer will get your stuff up online. Then, like a good microphone. My own personal setup is I just have a decent headphone mic.
It does quite well, actually.
But the permanent thing is good equipment. Just be okay with starting and trashing podcasts as they come up. Just and to keep trying, keep doing something, because the activity registers online, where if you're not doing anything, you're not doing anything.
If you have enough content out there, good content and a good sound, sometimes somebody will eventually listen to it, and it could very well grow.
And that's where I'd really emphasize: be ready to trash an idea and just start again. Maybe don't. Like for my podcast, I paid a graphic artist for the artwork, but I think I can take that podcast for a while. So maybe do your own graphics while you're figuring your stuff out, but the permanent thing is going to be learning the technique, getting the good equipment, so then you can trash the bad idea and just start again with a new one.
That's always a good thing. Don't be afraid also. If you have ideas in your head, if you really have something you want to get out, it's very cathartic just to be able to talk into a microphone and put it out on the internet for people to listen to. You don't have to think that you're going to have, that you need to have a deep resonant voice. We can do a little bit of changing that. You don't have to be super awesome looking. I mean, I have a face for radio.
And a voice for work with mimes.
Yet, here I am talking on a microphone. The little setup we have here, it cost a little bit of money, but I got most of it used. Pro FX 12 USB mixing board. With enough microphones, I can host a bunch of people here, up to, I think, 6 people with their own microphones, XLR. And, I have a nice computer and a couple of decent microphones. The condenser microphones are great. They tend to pick up everything, though. And the dynamic microphones are really good, too. They have a narrower spectrum of what they can pick up. With the lower cost ones, you can still get a decent sound, but you generally will have to talk right up in there. These are things that can be had for relatively cheap. I don't think I spent more than a couple $100 on all of them. And I haven't even paid for the website yet. That's why you find me at a.weebly.com, not my own domain. If I get enough listeners, I'll change that. We'll have something just for us.
That actually brings up an interesting point. If you have $200 or $300 to play with, you really have to figure out what you want to spend it on. Like on my own side, I spent it on things like hosting, artwork, domain name, whereas you've spent it more on equipment, and you're using the like a free site, free hosting.
Yes, well, I had a slightly different bent when I started out. You had the need of a computer and a microphone because you wanted to post your podcast with you talking about what you are really you love those dystopian novels. That's all you really needed. You were able to focus that money into the website, into the art. I, on the other hand, have a passion for more of an interactive talk radio thing. I can get on a microphone and just start talking, but I'd rather have other people in here with me to talk to. it just is personally more fun for me. That's my passion.
And isn't more of your background just personally speaking in things like music?
It is. I have been a musician, a really bad one, but also radio. Radio was my big thing.
Yeah, where you started from the audio side, where I just started from the wanting to talk about something side.
Yes, yes. Since 1972, I wanted to be a DJ. Now that I'm older, I have the opportunity to do that every Friday night at 7 p.m. Left Coast time at maltshopradio.caster.fm. It's a live stream. I do record it. Shh, don't tell anybody. And I just have a lot of fun with it. I also really have enjoyed talk radio. Not so much the political talk, but more of the relationship talk shows, the more amusing ones, the Bob and Tom, Don and Mike, Paul and Phil type of morning zoo radio. Not necessarily having to do with music, though I always did love that. The old FM DJ stuff still rings true with me.
So to what extent have you started a podcast?
I have right now one podcast up online, and that is a recording of my Friday night show, of one of the Friday night shows. I'm going to try and post that every single week. This will be the first podcast that I've done personally that I'm putting up that doesn't have anything to do with music.
Ah. Oh, another. How would you? Like, what recommendations would you personally offer for people just getting off the ground or wanting to start something?
Find what you're passionate about, what you love to talk about, or the music you love to play. And that's it. There are any number of free ways to get online. I do recommend that at the very least you have a decent USB microphone. You can have great content, really great content, but if the microphone is lousy, it'll sound like you're talking from a tin can where all your P's are popping like and that's painful. And all your S's are slurring. That's not good either. A good microphone will help prevent that. A good sound is necessary. I have heard a number of really good podcasts that had terrible sound. Just couldn't listen to them. You got to have the content too. I've heard a lot of really good sound podcasts that don't really have anything to say.
What do you think is the importance of having a good relationship with other podcasters?
That's a big one. The podcasting community is pretty darn large right now. What a lot of podcasters are doing is they're sharing their websites with links to other podcasters. That's networking. It spreads yourself around. It enables you to get access to a potential larger audience. Now, if you want to do this for a living, good luck. But the best thing to do is get to know people and consider it a hobby.
Yeah, if you take the hobby line, then it lets you do more of what you really want to do, where, like, you see this in pop music and that sort of thing, it just turns into what the studio executives come up with, rather than somebody paying for, like when you had good music, it was either it's folk music where the people are singing about everyday concerns, or somebody like, Haydn or Handel, and you have royalty commissioning pieces for things other than just putting out schlock that they think people want to hear.
Yeah, mostly that's what radio is right now. Schlock that people want, that radio executives think people want to hear, that programmers. But, that is actually a subject I would like to talk about the next time we meet. We are going to meet again, aren't we?
I should think so.
Okay, well, we better get this Zeppelin safely on ground before it crashes and explodes. That would not be good. I'm not looking for that. Oh, here come the foundations. That usually means the end of my show. All right, everybody, build me up, Buttercup. Spread the word that we're out here and help to get listeners. Maybe we can have a lot of fun together.
I like it.